Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man. It's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales. Dirty discussions with Kiki and Medina Monroe. Yeah.
Today's cocktail is called Bourbon Booty. The ingredients you need: 2 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of rosemary simple syrup, 1 ounce of lemon juice. So how you're going to make that rosemary simple syrup is you're going to boil a half a cup of water and a half a cup of sugar. Boil until the sugar is dissolved, remove from stove, and rosemary leaves to infuse flavors. Add the rosemary leaves to infuse the flavors. Let sit for 10 minutes. And here's how you're going to make that cocktail. You're going to add a scoop of ice to the shaker. Add all of the ingredients to that shaker. Shake until chilled for about 10 to 15 seconds. Strain the cocktail into a rocks glass over big ice cubes and garnish with a rosemary sprig. Ew.
This looks cute.
It does look cute. I already tasted it, and I love the freshness of it. This cocktail was made by Country Crafts. That is country with a K _crafts19. That's the Instagram. We absolutely adore his cocktails. They're amazing. He pulls up at the studio, makes us our drinks, and we be lit.
Yeah, I can already tell you right now, Shaq, we're going to need another one because I know I'm going to drink this down.
Yeah.
You guys, welcome back to Cocktails Dirty Discussions.
Hey, y'all.
If you're watching the show, you can see that we have a guest. We'll get to him in a second.
He fine. Y'all see he got a suit on?
I know, he came correct today. But we do have a few announcements. So today, March 31st.
Ooh.
If you're listening to this super early in the morning, not yet, but at 10 a.m., the tickets go on sale for our next 3 live shows.
So live shows.
Yeah, so not only do we still have the tickets for May 12th at City Winery, June 5th, we will be in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone.
Ooh.
And then July 20th, we will be in New York City.
New York City.
New York fucking City at Caroline's.
Finally.
And then on July 28th, we are going to Philly.
What it do? I can't wait to see them men with the beards.
Oh, you know they all got beards over there. HELIUM Comedy Club, July 28th. So just go online. The links are going to be, it's too many links for me to say, but the links are going to be in the description box. Go ahead and buy your tickets. Tell your friends. We're really excited. We can't wait to go to these cities. We have never done shows in these cities. So this is going to be
a whole new energy, a whole new vibe, new men, new women. Oh my God. We're on tour, bitch.
Yeah, so, and, you know, if you're in Atlanta or you want to come to Atlanta, still come. There's a few tickets left at City Winery, Thursday, May 12th. We busy, y'all.
Get it. We booked and busy.
And another link, the card game, I'm Curious to Know, is still available online for purchase. Please go to I'mCuriousToKnow.com and purchase your game. It will make a really good gift. It's fun to play by yourself. Well, not by yourself, but get it for yourself so that you can play it on a date or play it, you know, with your boyfriend, with your husband.
And, you know, don't be shy to put this game in your bag, ladies, and pull it out when you're at dinner and that nigga don't have nothing to talk about. He's boring. You're like, what are we doing here? Pull the deck out and you might learn something new and exciting about him and you might make a cocktail out of it.
You might.
You're welcome.
I'mCuriousToKnow.com. All right. So today, you guys, we have a special guest with us.
His name is Sir Marvelous. Some of you maybe have seen him on other shows. Maybe you've been marvelized by him. I know that's not a word, but he's a professional, sensual, BDSM dominant, erotic massage artist. Ooh, kinky fantasy facilitator. Oh, yeah. And you specialize in introducing people into BDSM.
Absolutely.
Welcome to CockTales.
Thank you for having me. This is delicious.
I told you we're going to need some more.
Yours is halfway done. He be in there whipping it up.
Oh, yes.
So welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you for having me.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from New York.
I hear an accent, and sometimes it sounds Spanishy, and sometimes it sounds like islandy.
Say that again for my sub so she can hear me.
Sometimes it sounds Spanishy.
Oh, yeah. So I am Cuban and black, so that is it. I don't really have any connection to my Cuban side, but once I found that out, I was like, I'm gonna quote that everywhere I go now.
Well, that's so funny that you have an accent.
I don't hear it myself, but I do hear that a lot from people.
Do you speak Spanish?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. I speak other languages, but
what you speak?
body language.
I
like that.
Right. Okay. So before we get to know more about you and what you do and find out what all this stuff is, we're gonna actually play our game. I'm curious to know with you. So this one has a mix of different questions. I took some out. I think this is the right stack. This ain't.
It's so cute, and our faces on it. Also, I mean, this is so exciting.
Do you have some? Because these were the ones that I took out.
I do. Let me give you a little stack.
Okay, thank you.
And then I'll pull the first one. Name 2 things. I'm curious to know.
Ooh.
2 things that you'd like me to do to you more often. Okay, wait. I ain't never fucked him. Hold on. Let me ask a different one. That's for somebody that's fucking.
Okay.
What's your favorite part of sex?
Aside from the times that I'm actually, doing the most, I love being used like a meat stick. I love just, when my submissive just uses me. When I'm allowed to just like relinquish that control, sit back. Sometimes I'm out my hands tied up and she just uses me for her pleasure.
Oh, like she actually ties your hands up?
Yeah, she'll tie my hands up, ride my face, ride my dick, whatever she want to do at that point in time. That's up to her.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of pressure. I'll be scared.
Me too. And then what if I do something wrong? I'm going to get in trouble.
No. So at those stages, she has she's loaded with revenge for all the shit that I probably done did to her.
Oh.
So she,
Be safe.
Right.
911 is on speed dial,
Right.
bitch. Don't play.
So let me ask you this. How do you approach trust in a relationship with your submissive specifically? Do you start with it or does it have to be earned?
It's constantly earned, I would say. It's specific to BDSM relationships. Her and I are in a dynamic, so we have an actual contract between her and I, and we touch base on that contract every so often. Every couple of months, we dive into it and see, which goals we have met, what we want to step up in, what we want to accomplish more of, and things of that nature. So
y'all
it's a ton of
professional.
communication. Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to start pulling up with contracts. Hey, listen. Go ahead, read through this and how you feel about it. Next one. This is like in alignment. What are your expectations of your sub?
Man, I just, honestly, it's going to sound kind of bland, but I just love how organized she keeps me. You know what I mean? I've always been good at performing and doing my thing and doing what I'm good at, but I've always lacked organization. And she just organizes everything and just makes the success rate just go super high.
Are you a Libra?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay.
Don't you crack any jokes. I might cry.
Cancers do be crying. Okay, tell me about one of your most embarrassing sexual or dating experiences.
My most embarrassing dating experience? Okay, great. I actually went to a swingers club with an old friend of mine quite a few years ago. She was looking fine as hell. She was dressed. That doesn't matter what she was dressed like.
He was about to paint the picture, bitch.
Okay.
But she's a taller woman. She's about 6 foot. And she also had heels on. And we were going to swingers club. We was going up the steps. And she was going down the steps, and she actually tripped and tumbled down the steps in the middle of everything, tumble like
Were
a
people
tumbleweed.
laughing or was she hurt?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't hurt, but she did try to bounce up and fix her wig real quick and do everything. But I was really happy that she did not get hurt outside of having a boo boo on her knee. But it was embarrassing. It was like a scrotum.
I'm going home.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That didn't happen to you. That happened to her.
He said I was embarrassed by this.
I'm
bitch.
saying she was embarrassed.
No, I want to know what made you embarrassed. Like an embarrassing moment of yours. You
Oh, no,
really
but-
just
I
switched
tried
that.
to
Well, I
shift
saw
that.
this girl fall down
Shit.
the stairs one time. Tried to shift it real quick.
Shit, damn. I try to erase those memories.
I know that's right. I do that too. It's like I don't know. I draw a blank.
Okay, so last one. How do you feel about marriage?
I love the idea of marriage. I love everything about it, including the ceremony. As you're probably going to figure out that I love wearing suits. I love dressing up for an occasion. I love doing the most. So besides just the ceremony part of it, I like the idea of having somebody that I'm committed to for the rest of my life. But I'm a complex person, so I'm hoping that this particular relationship leads to marriage because we're going to have a lot of fun in that.
Aww.
I have so many questions.
I know, right? But before we do that, we are going to go to Weird Sex.
Okay.
And I have a BDSM story, actually.
Okay.
You said a man is not a necessity, a man is a luxury.
Like dessert. Yeah. Man is absolutely not a necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
All right. right. So this week's Weird Sex, y'all were blowing my phone up. Y'all emailed it to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we're talking about this on the show today. So the headline says, a New York City woman held a date in the Bronx hostage where he was tortured, covered in flammable liquid for $100,000 ransom while his brother watched on FaceTime. Okay, listen. So, late one night last month, a 24-year-old man headed to a Bronx apartment believing he was about to hook up with a pretty brunette he'd met on Instagram.
Ew.
It turned out to be a honey trap that nearly cost him his life. The woman he'd been chatting to was actually part of a group of sadists who spent hours torturing the kidnapped man, even stabbing him while demanding $100,000 in ransom on a FaceTime call to his horrified brother. When police found the victim some 24 hours later, he was tied up and gagged in the back of a van, barely clinging to life.
Wow.
The woman who allegedly lured him, Valerie Rosario, 22, is facing charges of kidnapping and attempted murder over the sick scheme. Prosecutors say that the Lower East Side con woman allegedly coaxed the complete stranger to an address on the Marble Hill Avenue in the Bronx. After they connected on the gram, he got there around 1 a.m., and that's when the twisted torture session began. 3 men barged into the apartment, with one of them pistol whipping the victim. The court document said Rosario and the accomplices then allegedly stripped the victim, placed him in a bathtub, poured flammable substances on him, and burned him with a flame all over his body. The charging document states they also tormented him with a knife, striking him about the legs, back, and body. According to the court document, she goes on to say that in another article I read, they were saying how she said that these were things that they talked about wanting to do before, but she upped it. It was a lot more than what he thought he was getting into. He thought it was going to be a
that's
little bit,
where the contract lies.
That's why sometimes, maybe you need to hit up somebody like Sir Marvelous to teach you how to do things properly and questions to ask, because that was a mess.
That is a mess, and I'll be so mad. I want her to get the death penalty.
That's really bad.
Yeah, I would be
they
disappointed.
Have that there, though, so.
It got worse the more you read.
Yeah, it was just like more and more things. Like, and in the bathtub, you just wanted to throw a little razzle dazzle on there, and then you put them in the van.
And how do you choose your
Where'd
victims?
you even get a van from? Most people don't be having cars in New York.
And I wonder what the brother was thinking. He was probably like, "Bro, I told you
I
stop
would be
doing this freaky shit. I told you."
I have told so many stories on Weird Sex about people who go and they meet up with somebody because they're trying to do kinky shit, and it ends up going south.
And and that makes sense. You need to have a certain level of trust before we start adding fire and shit.
Right,
Come on, bro.
Flammable liquids and
You tripping. Before we dive into our topics with Sir Marvelous, which we're excited to do, you guys, every season is a gift-giving season. My love language is gifts.
It is.
I like to give them. I really like to receive them. And I just don't know how I would feel if somebody gave me a painted portrait.
I mean, it's a gift that can literally last a lifetime. And now that we're into art, after going to Picasso's
we are
thing,
art connoisseurs.
we need pieces.
You're
and
moving.
y'all need pieces.
Yeah. If you are in the doghouse, if you need to apologize to somebody and you don't want to do it the same old, regular way, get them a portrait from Paint Your Life.
That is such a unique gift. They probably don't have one. These portraits are painted by real artists, and you get to proof them online before they're ever sent out. So if there's any changes that need to be made, you can have them make it. It's really easy. You can pick out a nice frame on there. So when your package arrives, it's already put together, and it's just gorgeous.
They're hand-painted portraits, you guys, created from any photo of your choice. So you can, if you're a side chick, you can steal a picture of someone else's husband and put it with you and make it look like y'all are a happy family. It's affordable. Yeah. Do your thing. It's a great gift to give to someone, and you get it in as little as 2 weeks if everything goes the right way.
So at paintyourlife.com, there's no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money is refunded, guaranteed. And right now, as a limited time offer, get 20% off your painting. That's right, 20% off and free shipping. To get the special offer, text the word TALES, that's TALES, to 64,000. That's TALES to 64,000. Text TALES to 64,000. Paint your life. Celebrate the moments that matter most. Terms apply. Available at paintyourlife.com/terms. Again, text TALES to 64,000.
Text it. All right, Sir Marvelous. Are we supposed to call you Sir? Or Mr. Marvelous or Mr. Sir?
Only what you feel comfortable doing. I do prefer Sir, though.
Sir. Okay.
Oh, yes.
I like
Yes,
that.
yes.
So give us a little breakdown of what BDSM is to you. What's something people get wrong about it?
All right. Well, to me specifically, the way that I like to engage in it, I'm a sensualist. So that means that I do everything slow and sensual. I look at BDSM as an extension of foreplay. Basically, everything that I do is about providing sensations to the people that I am dealing with, and just getting them aroused to a level that they've never really seen before. Just, with torturing them with time and patience and a lot of the creative things that I bring to the table. So
My pussy just hopped. She's like knocking on the door. She's like,
I'm glad I didn't offer you any of the drops.
I'm so glad you didn't, because she would really. She's like, who is that? Who's out there? Like, she just want to see.
Yeah, let me take a peek.
yes.
So foreplay is really important. You like being sensual. Now, how are you teaching these things to people?
Well, they learn a lot during the negotiation and the debrief. So
The negotiation? Yeah,
Yes. I'm glad you
What
asked.
is it? And the debrief
So
got real serious.
Yeah, so before I even think about doing a session with a person, of course, I do a consultation. However, before we begin the actual session in person, there's a negotiation where I show the person all of the tools that I have, or I brought, that I have at my dungeon, or particularly brought to wherever I'm meeting them at. And I show them an example of how I may use them, ask them for their consent to use them, show them how I would be safe with these things. And that is called a negotiation. They get to choose, hey, I like the sound of that. I don't really care to hear that or feel that.
Are some people ever shy or nervous
All the
and they're like,
time.
I don't know what to do?
All the time. But I have learned from experience that, just the way that I'm able to explain certain things to them, it really gives them confidence, because most people want to be able to understand. So before they take that journey, like, how does this make sense? Why? Because a lot of my tools I purchased them on purpose so that they are intimidating. I do believe in tension being a good asset during sexual experiences. When you use it right, it's like, when you're nervous and you're tense, some people would say that's a bad thing. I look at it as a good thing, because it's like activating your pelvic muscles during sex. You're able to increase or make your orgasm even stronger when you're just activating that particular muscle. So I like the nerves. Bring them all. I'll use them to my favor.
Okay. So you use these tools. Is the tool that has ever used your penis? Like, do you ever use that?
No. That's the
Okay.
best part
It's
about it. It's the mind fuck right there.
Are
It's
they
like,
ever like begging for it? Like, are they ever like, can I just throw you some extra cash and can you fuck me real good?
I'm not gonna lie. They most of the time they're like, yo, I gotta call up a sneaky link to to do something. One of my clients just texted me the other day like, yo, I'm still looking for somebody to like, you know what I mean, get the rest of that frustration out, because it does leave them with this euphoric feeling of like orgasm, but it's not the same as actual sex.
It's not.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like the person that likes, even after having sex, they still choose to masturbate. It's a different kind of nut for them. That's kind of how it is when it comes to this. Like, you're gonna orgasm like you've never orgasmed before, but you're still gonna not require, but you still may desire to actually have that physical connection with your partner.
Yeah, because I'm going to want that. Because I'm going to be like, you done did all this to me. Now, where's the dick?
Where's the dick? Right.
It's like, what?
It's like when you watch porn and you don't have your toy right next to you and you've you've watched like 3 different videos and now you're just like pulsating and you jump up with your drawers down by your ankles and you run and go, you're just looking through everything trying to find your toy.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I
And
hate
it's
when
like,
it
where
happens.
the fuck did I leave it in? Did I leave it in Texas?
But then you also feel good. Like,
I
it's
hope
weird.
it's charged too. Oh my
Right?
God.
Don't let it be dead.
You really be mad. You might cuss somebody out.
Yeah.
How important do you think foreplay is?
It is. I can't even like quantify how important it is. I believe that it should be done as much as possible, because the penetration portion of sex for those who are in heterosexual relationships isn't or shouldn't only be the thing that we look forward to. Sometimes the foreplay or the intensity from the foreplay can be as intense as the actual penetration or better. So for me, it's about, like, again, building up that level of arousal, especially for women. As more often than none, you're hearing more sexologists and people that just give sex advice in general talking about how important it is for women to be aroused and, to build them up and stuff like that. You hear the 20, 40-minute, hour quotes of like how long it takes. But, when you think about all the different things that, like, for example, BDSM provides, that 30 minutes could go really, really fast with all the different things that you can do. So
What kind of things do you like to do during foreplay?
Personally, I'm a big fan of fire play. I'm a big fan of electric play.
Wait a minute.
Do you got to take a class first to like
Fire safety class.
I personally have taken classes for everything that I have learned to do. And I do know that like me saying that isn't something that's super applicable to someone that is or practical to use for somebody tomorrow. You know what I mean? But the reality is when you experience something like this, it really opens up your mind. Like, yo, I can't believe that something so crazy sounding could actually feel so amazing. You know what I mean?
So what is fire play exactly?
So fire play is when we use the alcohol as an accelerant and we're able to manipulate the fire because the temperature is a lot lower than the traditional fire that you're used to. So it's like a warm feeling, and temperature play is incredibly important, not incredibly important because you can do without it, but it's an incredible tool to use to bring about arousal in people because you get blood to rush to a particular area of the body when you manipulate the temperature level.
If she has a wig on, do you be like, please remove it?
No, I'm nice with the fire.
Did
so
you wear
I don't, yeah.
hairspray today?
The accelerant that we use, like I said, the alcohol mixed with the water, and it really decreases the ability, the flammability of the fire that we're manipulating. So of course, I'm never going to be like having fire on somebody's hair, but I'm going to stay
be
away.
like that lady from earlier, Rosario.
Will you put fire on a pussy?
Absolutely.
Nah,
I feel like that would feel really good, but I also feel like I would be shaking.
I would be scared, but then like once it was over and I realized I'm still okay, my pussy not broken.
Yeah.
It would be exciting. Like, I might want some more.
Yeah.
Oh, bitch, I'm about to let me go find.
I'll show you some
real
videos
quick.
after this later.
Okay.
I'm excited. So on the table, I see some things.
Right.
There's a knife. Is that a machete?
It's a knife. You can grab for it. Go ahead, reach for it.
Okay.
What is it called? Is it like a special name for this
No,
type
it's
of
just
knife?
a knife.
Oh,
Just a knife.
because it definitely looks fancy.
Yes.
This is like.
Is it
Don't be
really
afraid
sharp?
No, it's actually dull. It's
Oh, okay.
actually incredibly dull. She's
Do
going to show
y'all
it.
see this? This is like. What would you do with something like this?
So something like this, I would use it for sensation play, and you can don't worry, don't be afraid of it. It's dull. It's
Okay.
really dull.
Let's see.
Can you like do it on
It's
my
incredibly
arm?
dull. Absolutely. Let me put this down.
I'm excited. Or
So-
like, do you do it on the neck?
So normally,
I think I would
collarbone?
like it on the neck.
Yeah.
absolutely. So normally, what I would do is I would make sure that you're oiled down so that it's even more sleek.
Oh, I'm a little ashy.
No,
He's
you're
like, "Ma'am,
glistening.
did you put
You're
lotion on
glistening.
today?
Again, I would couple this with something like sensory deprivation, such as like a blindfold.
Oh, so you might be like,
It
what
sounds
is he
real
touching me with?
sophisticated.
Exactly. So it's like it's the mind fuck, and then I might put my hand around your neck and whisper in your ear and just drag this across your body. Other times I may use. Most of the time I use this after wax play. So I use this as a way to remove the wax from a person's body, and it's a
even nice.
freeing feeling. It's like you've been cocooned in the wax, and now I'm freeing your body, and I'm still whispering dirty stuff in your ear and congratulating you, giving you all these affirmations and telling you how good you look and how good you smell and feel, and while I'm dragging things across your body and doing all types of stuff, have a vibrator on your pussy. I mean, the list goes on and on.
I feel like I would be hollering and screaming and
Oh, yeah.
not knowing what to do. This is beautiful. Oh my gosh. I was like, is that a machete? Okay, hold on, let me maneuver. I don't want to
Okay, so what else do we have over here on the table? I see some rope.
Okay.
What is this metal thing? Yes.
So this is a metal flogger. This is one of my favorite toys. I don't go anywhere with this one, without this one. And the reason is because similar to the sensation that I was able to provide with the knife, I'm able to do the same thing with this. When you couple this with like a vibrator, I can have the vibrator dragging across your skin. Again, I am a big fan of sensory deprivation. So putting a blindfold over somebody and, that really adds to that sensation level. So I'm able to dip this in like warm water, cool water, and drag this across a person's body. I'm able to put a vibrator on it. The sound itself has turned a lot of people on. Again, you're not able to see. You're hearing something coming close to you. I'm dragging this across a person's nipples.
So you just drag that. You never pop them.
Absolutely, you can. You
Oh.
can. I mean, I can
pop
show
with
you
that?
that it
that
doesn't
how
really hurt.
Oh, it doesn't. It's like a little.
So I
You
was
can
like,
touch
this
it.
look.
It looks intimidating. I want it to be
It's
intimidating.
not that heavy.
It's not.
I thought it was going to be really heavy.
I love you, like I told you before, I love using intimidating tools so that when you understand, because it's going to you're going to want to ask, like, what is it? What is that used for? And then when I explain it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. And once stuff starts making sense to us, that's when we become more open to trying it. Like, okay, I can see how that works.
I want to try things like this with people that I'm having sex with.
Yeah, sometimes I do too, but it's like, how do you bring
How
that
do
up?
you start?
What would you
Yeah.
suggest?
Well, I would suggest just reading about certain things and sharing it with your lovers. Of course, one of the best tricks I've ever heard or tips I've ever heard with introducing kink or BDSM to a couple is just like, if you see, for example, one of my videos, you might want to share one of my videos on my page to somebody like, yo, what you think of this? Is this wild? Just see what they say. And that way you can determine whether or not that person is open-minded or not enough to even go forward with the next conversation. Like, let's look into something like this. And you read together. Take the journey of learning together. You know what I mean? I always say that one of the reasons that relationships tend to end is because of infidelity. One of the things that brings about infidelity is boredom, routine, and just...
We talked about it last week.
You know what I'm saying? So that is something... I'm not saying that, having awesome sex is going to make every relationship last forever and ever, but it will, increase the chances of it lasting longer at the very least.
What are some tips that you could give women about foreplay that men like?
Believe it or not, men do enjoy being tied up. I know it sounds
I
crazy.
can't get them to do it. I've been asking
never
for a long
tried.
time. I have tried. I brought the rope. I brought the stuff. I had silk handcuffs one time.
Simple handcuffs.
He's
And
like,
when we in
no.
Atlanta, I feel like niggas be like, you trying to have somebody rob me?
Oh, yeah. That's
I was in Texas.
You trying to have somebody run up the spot? Like,
No, they just be like, what you trying to do, Key? Like,
Sensual
I'll tie you up.
sensual massages, dick massages, things like that, using warm oil all over their body is something that you can use as foreplay. Whispering dirty things in the ear, practicing. One tip that I would give for dirty talk is to write down 10 things you would want to say in bed. And as corny as it sounds, it works.
it sounds fun to me.
I'm going to make
sounds-
a list.
I like corny stuff like that.
Dirty talk, oh my God, it's like magic.
Oh, yeah. Now, that is one thing that I think ladies know, because when I want you to hurry up and come, I start whispering the nastiest shit. I'll be like, yeah, you feel that pussy slipping and sliding. Spit in my ear. Spit in my mouth. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then it's like, oh, finally, it's over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try it in a different way.
So,
I wanted to know, when you have a submissive, does that mean she's your girlfriend?
In this particular situation, yes. There are people that keep their BDSM dynamics separate from their life, but I have a through and through type of relationship where she is my submissive and I am her boyfriend at the same time. So, that's for us. Everybody can, I determine what their relationship is going to be for them.
What was your sex life like before you got into BDSM? Like, who were you before that?
I was a slut.
Slut.
I was a slut.
You was out here breaking hearts.
A little bit of both, I would say. And I was a slut.
And then when did you realize, like, you know what, this is something I really want to get into?
So I did learn that part of the reason that I was doing what I was doing when it came to women, it was because I wanted the gratification of the feedback or the surprise that they're getting. So like when I was younger, I would always go for women that were older, more established than me, because it was a way that I felt more validated. I'm like, she got all of this stuff going for her. She's fine as hell. If she's into me, that means I must be something. You know what I mean? So that was something that I got off on. But I also got off on the idea of like, I'm gonna surprise the fuck out of her when I do fuck her, because
He's voodoo dick.
So she would,
I hear it.
So
I hear it.
I would be plotting like a motherfucker. Like, you have no idea. And I've been on the skinny side all my life growing up and shit like that. So like I would be really underestimated. Like, it's a little skinny motherfucker going to do to me. And then I'm like, all right, let me show you what I'm gonna manhandling your big ass all over the room and shit, among many other things. And
Do you have a type that you like in a submissive, or requirements?
Honestly, I can honestly say no. I don't. I can't say that I have a particular type. That's probably the short answer.
Okay, you're submissive. What would you say her personality was like outside of y'all's dom and submissive relationship? Like, was she already very dominant in her regular everyday life, and so she wanted something different?
Oh my God.
Or what?
She is probably one of the most go-getting type of women that I know.
I knew
and it's usually like that. Like, I tell you that's all. When a woman or anybody for the most part is so used to being the head bitch in charge, doing everything, taking care of literally everything and everyone else around them, the idea of coming home and having to initiate romance, intimacy, and things like that, that's not the most ideal situation. Are you capable of doing that? Absolutely. But do you want to have to come home and still, you know what I mean, initiate things, not necessarily. The idea of getting that vacation mentally or physically is a dream come true.
Do you guys ever just have like regular sex, or is it always like, let me pull out the tools, oil you up,
No.
sliding the knife down your butt crack? Like, is it ever just normal?
Absolutely. That's the biggest misconception, and I'm glad you asked that question. It's not always super duper kinky. There are going to be some things that I do because I do try to, because penetration sex for most women tends to not lead to orgasm, or solely penetration sex for most women doesn't
We
lead
be
to
laying
orgasm.
there like,
So I do try to provide a little extra stimulation. Like we might, even on our regular days, we might have regular sex, what we call it, and we just use a vibrator while we're fucking. Simple shit. You know what I mean? That way we can increase the chances of her having that orgasm. You know what I mean?
when she gets in like sub mode, are there like moments where you have to like get aggressive? Because when I hear like submissive, I'm like, are there things that she can do and you're like, bad girl?
Oh yeah, she. The thing is that I don't have a brat for a submissive, and I'm nothing against brat. Shout outs to all the brats out there, but I honestly would not consider her a brat. The type of person that is like doing things against,
she follows the rules.
She follows the rules. She's always trying to like make things better. She's trying to like add value to situations so much, even when she's in that submissive role. So
You think you would be a brat or a true submissive?
A true submissive.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would be a brat because
You think so?
Because I think you would want to get in trouble sometimes just
Ain't
to see
nothing
what
wrong
would
with that.
happen.
Ain't nothing wrong with
You
that.
know, you like to do little things sometimes.
So like in our dynamic, she knows that whether she's good or bad, she's in trouble. So that's just how it is. So it's like, fuck it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a way to take it to the next level. Our last scene at the dungeon was something that she actually asked for, and I was so proud of myself for being able to deliver it on a level that
What'd she ask for?
a predominantly anal scene.
Oh.
And I'm a big fan of anal, so like
Me too.
so she was like, I want you to use my ass and like almost forget about my pussy. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some research to make sure that because if this whole 2 hour or more are gonna be
Don't break no booty holes around here.
Yeah, I mean we do anal sex all the time, so it's good. But I wanted to make sure that I had some other stuff outside of the box to do with different ways to like spice it up versus just like put it
Like
on dick
like
in her.
light a match and put it in her butthole. Really? Like, would you ever do that?
I put fire in her ass before.
In it?
In her
How it
ass.
stay lit? She got a large booty hole?
It goes out. It goes out. But you feel the sensation
Y'all
once it touches.
imagine if you farted. Right.
Oh my God.
Right. It's like, you're like, oh, you're getting in trouble. I'm beating you,
shit.
but because this is not supposed to happen.
my flogger.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
knife. You over here farting on the mat. It done fumigated the whole
It's gonna be funky too.
Oh my God.
Shit,
oily.
smell.
It's a greasy fart. Are there pros and cons to this lifestyle?
There's pros and cons to everything, honestly. There's no I don't want anybody to think that there's one sure way to be successful at anything. A good strategy today could be a bad strategy tomorrow. That's just the way I look at it. The best thing you can do is just communicate as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Would you consider yourself a sex worker?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
So when you got into this lifestyle, I'm always interested in knowing, like, what did your family think? Were they
So
like, boy, you're a prostitute? You know, sometimes black people don't be understanding, like, no, this is a lifestyle. And they're like, you're not doing this.
my family wasn't surprised because the majority of the family that matters to me, and I don't mean to say that in a harsh way, but are my siblings. I come from a large number of siblings. It's 10 of us in total.
Ooh.
So yeah, and my oldest sister is someone that had a big part in raising me. So like it's like talking to my sister. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna be afraid to talk to your brother or your sister. You may not tell them the intimate shit, but they're not. It's not like talking to your mom or your aunt or your uncle or some shit like that.
Yeah. I remember when we started doing this show, it's funny because when stuff becomes successful, that's when everybody's like, yeah, do it, baby. But my sister always had my back. She would be like, sometimes when the family would be like, what is Medina doing? I heard she working in magic. And I was like, y'all, it's a podcast. Like, what are you talking about? And my sister would be like, y'all need to mind your business. This is people talking about real life things, wants and needs that honestly help relationships.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Well, I just told my family to stop fucking listening. It's not for you anyway. And don't ask me for shit when it pops.
right.
People don't understand how important what you guys do is. Anybody that has a sex positive podcast in any way, shape, or form, or in most cases, even a sex worker, their work is important because our lives, whether you are freaky or not, really do involve sex for most people.
That's how we got here.
So exactly. So you know what I mean? Making those conversations less taboo, opening up those conversations to talk about pleasure, to talk about trust, to talk about relationships, things like that is so fucking important.
It's so important. We always talk about it on the show, like, ladies, stop faking your orgasm. That nigga needs to know he not pleasing you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I also think it's important with like us, like Black people, because so many people are so scared to try things. The amount of people that I know personally who are scared to do stuff because of the judgment, not because they don't think they'll be into it, but they would just, God forbid, somebody hear that they were into this, and this is like so like. We don't do that. But it's like, yes, we do. Or maybe that's why you don't like it. Because you're doing boring stuff. Like,
Maybe
it's
that's
okay.
why you're
There's
in an
other
unhappy
people.
relationship.
Yeah. Lots of people are into trying different things. And if you just open your mind, life will just be better. Like, I have great days. If I get fucked real good, that's going to be a great day. And if I get fucked great, it might last a couple weeks. You know? It really...
I have another question before we move on to Indecisive Diane. Do you have any fantasies that you haven't fulfilled?
Good question.
This one kind of gonna put her on the edge, but I do have a DP fantasy still.
Oh.
So like,
Okay.
not for me. I mean, not for me to be double penetrated, but it's just something that I desire to do. Because I love overstimulating a woman. I love the idea of double penetration. I tend to do it with like toys and things like that, but I've never actually done it in a actual live sexual experience. So like, yeah, I know it might sound a little weird because it's like, what's in it for me? But I really get off on giving people pleasures or things that, like you said, society made you believe is taboo. A woman should never think about doing stuff. Like, no, I'm going to be that motherfucker. You can ask for anything. Like, and I'm going to cheer you on. I'm going to make sure you got what you need. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to make sure you're safe. All of those things like that, I get off on that shit. That makes me feel like a real powerful person. You know what I mean?
What do you get off on?
Gifts. Huh?
What do you get off on? You say he deserves gifts?
Gifts. That's a good man, Savannah.
I get gifts. I get gifts.
It's important to. What do I get off on when I'm having sex with somebody? I think whenever they look like they can't take it, like I kind of want it to be like you might want to run from me because I know how I feel when I have that feeling, so I try to return it. Like, oh, you did this to me last time. Okay, you got me last time, but now I want to do it to you. You know, and then I'll be like, what was that you said? What was that? You can't stop now. I like that.
Sometimes I like really weird shit, and
like
you
what?
never know. Like, okay, no one has ever done this before, and this is such a weird fantasy, but I really want to suck a man's dick, my partner's dick, and get it like really sloppy at his head, and then take it and rub it around my ear.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's interesting. Listen,
It's weird.
It's definitely something you can do.
I can't request it.
I'll try it tonight. I'll try it tonight.
Okay, tell me how it
how
goes, because I feel like he's gonna be like, bitch, what?
It might feel good. Like, think about the ridges in your ear.
Like those little
And that's
holes.
something that doesn't get touched.
Have you ever had a woman rub her nipple in your pussy? It's
Her
the
nipple?
weirdest thing. It feels really good.
I wouldn't be so. Trust me, I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, it's
Can
like...
Can I make one suggestion for that ear thing?
Yes.
Blindfold him.
Blindfold him? How you gonna find my ear?
You put
But
it
you're
there.
gonna put it in your ear.
Suck his
You
dick
suck anything and you.
and put it
Oh,
there.
you're gonna be like, what is that?
Exactly.
He's
You're
not
like,
gonna know. He might like it.
Yeah.
And you tell him later.
Oh, I'm gonna do
You tell
it.
him later, right?
Yeah.
You're like, that was your ear?
Exactly.
That's
exactly
Do
how
that
you gonna say
again. Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm gonna do that next week because I'm gonna see him next week.
Oh, you
Let me
are?
get a cute little blindfold.
Ooh.
I'm excited. Okay, guys, we are going to move on to Indecisive Diane. When we come back, Sir is going to help us give some advice to our crazy listeners.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey, ladies. How you doing? It's starting to get hot. Everyone wants to get thotty, but before you do, I want you to try out this place called Brooklyn Tea. This is the cutest little black-owned tea shop I've ever seen, ever. You feel like you're in a piece of Brooklyn. Here's the address. 329 Nelson Street, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30313. It's in the Castleberry Hill District. Go there on a date. They got Biggie Smalls cookies.
Okay, and we are back from Indecisive Diane, and it is time for the advice. Remember, if you want to ask us a question, you can email it to us, askcocktails@gmail.com. So this one says, my man cheats or the streets. Probably the streets is what I'm going to say, but because it sounds like he's not doing his job, and y'all know how I feel about that. Leave his ass. Anyway, first I want to say how excited I am to finally be typing this advice letter and for how bomb y'all are. Y'all are really like my older cousins. You had to put older in there.
Why we gotta be older cousins?
Y'all always gotta throw that in there.
Just be your cousin.
Okay, damn. My older cousins that I can talk shit and do drugs with.
Okay, first of all, no, because I'm telling.
Okay, have you listened to us for
Drink
real?
some water.
Okay, so a little background on me. I'm a 23-year-old college student working and trying to graduate, class of December 22. Congratulations, girl. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 3 years, and I'm very conflicted about some things. So our relationship had a rocky start, baby mama drama.
Ew, you're so young.
He was fucking with both of us at the same time, but I decided he could either get right or get left. So he got right. We have been working on our trust ever since, and I really do love him and see him as my best friend. And he really has been making the effort since his dumbass mistake. He's been growing as a man to make sure I'm happy and we can have a healthy relationship going forward. Okay, so here comes the issues. Number one, he's a Scorpio and he loves sex. I mean, he freaking loves it. Not gonna lie, when we first started talking and I finally gave him the coochie, I love fucking him and finding different ways for him to make me come. But lately, like the last year or so, I have been very detached from him sexually. And not just him, I just don't feel very sexually inclined. And I feel like as a young woman, it's just not normal. What should I do? Second problem, I love my nigga like I want a future with him, but there's something in me that just wants to be young, wild, and free. And that doesn't even mean fucking for me. It just means I want to be able to live my life, talk to who I want, flirt, feel sexy, etc. Do I give up my possible lover for life just to experience the streets? When I say it out loud, the answer sounds obvious, but there's just this itch and I want to scratch it. I've never been a cheater and I won't be. I would just have to be done with him and do me. But is it really worth it? Your advice is greatly appreciated and I hope y'all have an amazing day. Sent from my iPhone.
Ooh, sent from my iPhone.
You ever had a yeast infection?
Uh-huh.
And you know that itch that you get and you be like,
Oh, God.
can't wait to just walk to the bathroom real quick and just scratch it real quick. You got to scratch it. You got to scratch it. Even though the doctor be like, don't be scratching it. You got to scratch it because it just feels good. Like, you got to scratch your coochie itch.
This girl said the answer is obvious, but she really wants to scratch it. I was like, no, the obvious answer that we was going to give was have that whole phase. Mm-hmm. You're 23, sis.
You 23, sis.
Like, live your life.
And while I don't think that everyone has to have a hoe phase, like, don't force it, but you want it. Yeah, like, it seems like you want it. So give it a try. If you do start doing it, you in the bed crying, listening to Drake and Beyonce, and you like, I can't handle it. Then it's like, okay, hoe phase wasn't for you. And you probably lost your man. But now you know it wasn't for you.
Another one.
I definitely think that women need to experience things like that. I did. And it's just, I don't know what I would be like if I didn't have a hoe phase. I feel like I would be unfulfilled. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important that you're feeling these feelings. Feel them. You're only 23. Y'all not married, bro.
You're not married. He got baby mama drama, and you not the baby mama.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Is that really what you want forever? And it's not like he might be your best friend, but your best friend did some fucked up shit to you. Don't forget that part.
Don't forget it.
What would you tell her?
Oh, man, I'm just listening to that. I would say the same thing. Like, you got to do your whole phase. I would recommend ethical non-monogamy for that particular relationship. Mm-hmm. Consider the options of, like, experimenting with talking to other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And he's a Scorpio, so he might really be into it.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, if he's not flirting with her, if she's not feeling as desired, that's because his energy is probably elsewhere. So he's probably already doing some form of, like, cheating. And I could be wrong.
And he already did it.
So, like...
And he's still doing it.
People tend to be creatures of habit, so...
And you over here talking about he wants to have sex all the time, so it seems like you don't really want to. That nigga busting somebody else's walls down.
Yeah, so... Yeah, she don't need to be nobody's stepmom at 23 right now.
You don't. Sis, scratch your coochie.
Yes.
But if it really starts itching, you need to go to the doc.
Yeah. Get you some medicine.
Something. Okay, so that's it for the advice, I think, right? Yeah. That's it for the advice. And on that note, we will move on to the cocktails.
If I want fuck, I'm gon' fuck 'em. But if he ain't got a buck, I won't cuff 'em. Spend 100 on me, it ain't nothing. Run a double D, so stuck 'em. Back to the point, is it some cash in this place? If it is, I'll probably see the stats in your face, turn around. Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe, was a hoe.
So I really want Sir Marvelous to go first. I told you what a cocktail was.
Yes.
Do you have one in mind, or do you need a minute?
I did think of one. As I spoke about a little bit earlier, I hinted to, I do go to a lot of sex parties and events and things of that nature. And I remember when Siphon and I first started dating, and we went to some party, and it was a good party, but we decided to put on a little bit of a performance, you know what I mean?
Oh.
So, and I told you I'm a fan of double penetration. I'm a fan of anal. I'm a fan of stretching. I didn't mention that. But I decided to do a scene with her. It started off really sensual, and next thing you know, my whole fist is in her ass. My other fist is in her pussy. Like, I'm like double penetrating her with both fists, and
Were
I'm switching
people
into
like-
it. Yes, and then I had the nerve to be like, try to, like, after the scene was all done, she had came like crazy, squirted all over the fucking place, screaming and hollering. It was a fucking good scene, in my opinion. But, you know, at a swingers party, I'm like, all right, so you can fuck her now. You know, she's like, nah, I'm good. But I'm good.
Nigga, my butthole is loose.
Everything. Just give me a minute.
Dude was like, and it was funny because I was trying to, you know, like I had spoke to Siphon about, you know, potentially playing with Dude, and she was, you know, kind of open to it, but and Dude was kind of thirsty to play with Siphon as well. But, you know, I was like, we got something planned, and I'm like, after the scene, I'm like, you know, I guess now you can try to shoot your shot, see if it'll pop up. He was like, you know what, I'll pass, because it was just a lot. Like, how am I gonna follow up with that? You just had to like I was like,
Sorry.
Could you imagine going to a sex club with a man who does things like Sir Marvelous and you didn't know it, and you're next thing you know you're in a whole scene and you just thought like
I would feel like I was in a movie.
I would love it. When we come to New York to do our live show, you need to take us to a sex club.
done. Consider it done.
That would be fun, bro.
What? I've never been to one in New York. I've only been here.
I've been to one in New York with Mandy, and it was very sexy. I didn't think I was going to participate or, you know, be with anybody, bitch. I was in there eating pussy. I was like, oh my
Tell
God.
us about it. You in there
I was a
cutting
hot
up.
commodity. Okay, so I'm going to read a cocktail. The title is Don't Child's Pose on That Dick.
Oh.
She said, hey, ladies, I'll get straight to it. I listened to the episode with Ayana, and I'm not taking any more advice from y'all anymore. First of all, so I met this guy, and we decided to meet up at a Taco Tuesday / game night situation. I invited my homegirl just to lighten the mood because I was determined not to fuck. We were there first, so when he walked in, I realized that I didn't know what he looked like, and I was shocked at how gorgeous he was. Tall, chocolate, well-groomed, smelled good, and could dress. We had a fun night. Very cute, flirty vibes. Now it's time to go. But neither of us really wanted to leave one another. So I love feelings like that. So one more shot for the road. Then he walked me to my car. I get ready to say my goodbyes, and he grabs me, kisses me, and says, just follow me to my place. And in some little accent that just got my pussy so wet. And I said, okay, yes. I know that this is where I fucked up, y'all. I'm giving myself that you not gonna give him no pussy, you not gonna fuck him pep talk during the whole ride, knowing I'm lying. Cause I would have went home if that was the case. Now we fucking and I'm losing my mind. They ain't even talk. They just walk in the door fucking.
I know that's right.
This is the best dick of my life, y'all. Then he turns me over and puts me in child's pose, ! All caps. Now, I'm tripping and I'm overthinking the situation because what the fuck is going on? Why would he do this right after I listened to y'all's episode? I'm having conversations with myself in my head. Bitch, why did he start inserting himself in the conversation correctly? Is this my voodoo dick? No.
It is.
No. It can't be because it fits so perfectly. Like, this gotta be my dick.
Wow.
I was already going crazy, and it was only the beginning of a wild ride. So I decided to relax my breathing and meditate. That dick made my soul smile. Oh, I now know why they say don't let him hit the bottom of the pussy, because this man now lives in my head rent-free. We've been dating about a month now, and it's going well, but I find myself actively trying not to be obsessive. Signed, Manifest on that dick.
Oh, shit.
You know, sis.
We all been there before.
We see each other, okay? I hate when somebody move into my head rent-free like that. Like, it's just like... Ugh.
And you get one of those sex flashbacks, you feel it, and you be like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck just happened? You're like, mind your business.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I haven't had a sex flashback in a minute.
Me either. I gotta go have some sex. Last time we were here, I was having flashbacks.
You were?
Remember, I showed you a video.
Oh, you did.
I had a... anyway, that's enough of that. I don't have a cocktail to share. We're out of time today. But I want to thank you so much for coming. Please tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir Marvelous. I have a second page as well, which is Sir Marvelous Kinks, spelled KINKS with an underscore at the end. All my links are in my bio on my Instagram page. So, yeah.
Thank you for coming. This was a great conversation. You have inspired me to want to go make a man feel good.
Oh, please. Don't forget the blindfolds.
I got one in my drawer right now.
I need to get one.
You do.
You can use anything as a blindfold. Yeah.
So I could like take my bonnet and just tie it around his head.
All right.
Shit,
It's not kind of greasy. Yeah.
It's gonna work.
I'm like, bitch, why smell shea butter? Why his dick is in my ear? I'm sorry, baby. Make sure you guys get the game. Get your tickets to the live show. Support every single thing that we're doing. We appreciate y'all. We hope you appreciate the content.
Yes. Thank you so much. And make sure you're following us on Instagram. It's at CockTales Podcast. I'm at Kiki Said So.
I'm at Coffee Bean Bean.
And until next week, you guys, goodbye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye.
Population.
Goodbye. Bye. Bye.
Wait on the track.
Bye. 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 Goodbye. Bye. Bye.